All right, welcome to the Max Effort Kitchen podcast. We have a good backroom show for you today. I got myself, we got Joe Beck and Joey Cole. Joey, I've never actually said your last name on here. I hope that's okay. I figured if it's on your Instagram, it's probably all right. Hey, how you guys doing today?
Super.
Nice.
Doing good.
Nice. We got a fun show. I posted last night that we're gonna do this like Q&A type thing, and you guys, I did not tell you this in the beginning, but we're live on air. People can live and watch us on YouTube. I'm gonna do something right now that I've literally never done on this show or in my social media stuff. If you like what you're watching, subscribe. That's all I'm going to say. I'm so horrible at plugging stuff, and I don't do this for, I've talked about this before. I don't do this for money. I do this for the love of the sport and just to be able to talk about it and to meet people and to be a part of the sport in a different avenue. And so I've never been like the guy that's going to for the lack of better words, whore myself out for like all these followers. Like if you want to listen, cool. If you don't, cool. It's a really fun time. And usually we get some good people on here. So, but this time I guess I just did. So let's see how that goes. I'm all about trying new things these days. I know both of you you guys have your own little food things and the way you guys eat specifically, but I have been playing with I got a Traeger smoker, and it's something I've been very against for a long time, the pellet smoker. Do you guys smoke meats at all?
No.
You don't. I know you don't, Joey.
I do I have a offset smoker. I don't do any brisket or anything. I make ribs indirectly cooked. I just as likely to do them on the Weber kettle though. Yeah.
I'm finding that the pellet smoker and I are not friends. It's like it reminds me of an easy bake oven. It's like it's too easy. There's no art in it, and I'm almost to the point where don't get me wrong. I was gifted it for free, and I'm very appreciative of it, and I've used the heck out of it. But I haven't made friends with it yet, and this is something that for me, I like to be very. And don't take this word the wrong way, very intimate with my cooking utensils. So in a way I'm like, hey, I need to understand how this thing works. I need to, sit with it for 15 hours if need be and smoke a brisket. So every weekend I've been smoking all these meats, and I just made some ribs, and they're freaking amazing. Like I can't eat. I've never made ribs this good. So I'm getting there, but I've never enjoyed the Traeger. I've always loved the art of smoking with an offset. Yeah.
Well, it's a lot harder. I mean, a brisket on an offset is a 15-hour labor. With the Traeger, it seems like you just throw it in there and you can get it going in the middle of the night for yourself. And
yeah.
I've also heard things that the temperature control is not great, and then it gets too hot and it ruins your brisket sometimes. Or the opposite thing, it won't get hot enough, and then you're wasting all that time as well. So
yeah,
I've been this close to getting one for a long time. There's a dude on there's a dude on the internet who smokes these pork belly things that it seems like you need a Traeger for, and I'm like, God, I want it a whole skin on pork belly with a rub, and then make it into barbecue, and then you get it all crispy chicharron.
Yeah, dude, that crispy skin right there. That's where it's at. Joe, I think your microphone is hooked up to the computer. I don't think you're actually using your microphone. So check the setting on that. Joey, okay. So I know you're vegetarian ish.
I'm not a vegetarian. Well,
You're
I wouldn't
not.
say I'm a vegetarian. My partner's a vegetarian, and so usually we will cook that way, and then I'll throw stuff on there. But sorry, what were we gonna say?
So what I was gonna say is I experiment. Yeah, that's a lot better, Joe. I like that. I've experimented with over the weekend, like smoking tomatoes. Obviously, I brought in a bunch of tomatoes, so I smoked a bunch of those that I had left over, and they're pretty darn good. I was really surprised on how they took on the smoke flavor. So
yeah, you can don't they have like a cheese smoking attachment for those things too?
Yeah, they totally do.
I've heard that's really good too.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good one. I haven't done that yet, but that's might as well. All right.
Smoke water and then freeze it for ice cubes for smoked old fashions.
That's fantastic. So I have one of those like cold smoke guns with the dome that you put over the drink and all that. I'm going to be honest, I've never used it. So I don't know, Joe, you want it, you can have it. Yeah, anyways. Okay, let's get into the show here. Let's go with our first questions. By the way, thank you everybody who put questions up because it's been a good one. There's some good questions out there, and I'm going to start in the direction that they came in. So, first question. This one comes from Amy. It says, "What are the best qualities an athlete, coach, or gym owner can possess?" We'll stop. We'll just go with let's say the number one quality. Let's see that you look for in an athlete, and I'll talk about what I look for in a coach and gym owners. Sound good?
All right. So we're answering what we look for in an athlete.
Yeah. What do you guys look for? What's one of the first things when you see an athlete and they join your team, or maybe Joey, they join the gym? Like, what are you looking for?
You want to go first, Joe? Or you want me to grab this one?
You go first. Let me think about it.
I mean, outside of, if we're talking about like personality traits, or here the thing is like generally people need to be mobile. They need to be able to hit these positions. Obviously, what I think is but it's a sport where we have to do the same thing over and over and over again. And a lot of times hear the same cues over and over again is you have to find somebody who's tenacious. You have to find somebody who is not going to get bored doing that stuff over and over again. And they have a competitive nature to where they're always wanting to compete with themselves and improve. And then also in that, somebody who is patient and can be patient with themselves so that when things aren't going the way that they had hoped or had expected, they are willing and able to keep pushing.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are all good traits. Like in terms of, so in two ways, like Joe said, Joey's saying and looking at an athlete thing that you look for, he said the being able to hit the positions, the mobility. So one thing I would say is in looking at prospective athletes, that kind of coordination, like how coordinated they move in the beginning is a good cue they're going to be a good athlete. And then from a personality standpoint, work ethic, like how much they get done, how disciplined they are at going in on days they don't want to, how consistent they are with following the program, and how consistent they are with giving and being a remote coach, how consistent they are with doing the things they need to do to allow me to coach them the best, like putting in their data and putting up their videos. Like those guys are the ones that they might be the hardest to work with in terms of like the amount of labor that you put in, but they're the ones that reap the best rewards, I think.
Yeah. And meanwhile, I'm sitting here evaluating myself on when you're saying that stuff. So, so as I'll speak from the athlete's perspective. Easy money for a gym owner. I'm looking for a community. I'm looking for a community that is welcoming, that has intensity, that knows how to get down when they need to get down, that is uplifting, that takes the pretentious out of it and the gym bro stuff out of it. Because I've been around that a lot in my life, and I don't see the positivity of that kind of stuff. So hence why Coley Strength is a very welcoming gym in that sense. From a coach's perspective, and I've had a little bit of experience here with some different coaches and different personalities and stuff like that. A trait that I look for is good communication, honesty, and the ability to be direct. As an athlete, I'm looking for you to be like, no, that's not what I want you to do. Or that, and mind you, I'm different than a lot of athletes. Okay. But I'm okay with you looking at me and be like, that was shit. Do it again. Or, Joe, a good example of something that Joe did to me at Worlds. I pressed out my first snatch, pulls me down. He goes, "You're not going back up there unless you hit that." And all I said was heard, like that. And that's what I need. I don't want somebody to be like, all right, well, it's okay. Well, what do you want to do now? And, I look at it as like, you're my coach. All I have to do is lift, and all you have to do is tell me what to hit and where we're going. So from that perspective of an athlete, those are the things that I look for. Yeah. All righty. Now on to Macy. She says, how do you differently approach coaching females versus males? I'll let you guys pick on who goes first on that one.
I guess I'll take the first stab at it. I mean, in all reality, it's not necessarily, I mean, it's not even like male or female, in that for me, it's person to person.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be some changes you're going to make, like, because physiologically there's certain things that you can do at certain times, or you need to wait. Generally, you're going to find females are able to withstand a little more volume. A lot of times they're going to be able to withstand a little more intensity. But it really, that isn't so much something that I'm taking into a lot of consideration. I'm looking at the individual and making those decisions based off of the personality and the history that I have with that athlete.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's the answer. The answer is it depends, which is the weightlifting coach answer for everything.
Yep. I'm about to put a no, it depends answer here.
I mean, so what Joey's saying is it's dead on. It depends on the person. Each athlete's individual. You're gonna treat them differently. I might treat one woman different. I was thinking of just recently, the team is probably 75% women right now, and like the training camp that we got coming up is 95% women.
Yeah.
So I work with lots of them, and you definitely can't put them all. They're all not going to be the same. I think the one answer that you might be able to apply to all women is that you should be more. You have to be more empathetic, and by empathetic, it's like you got to think about what that word actually means, and that's like listening to them, not like how I would feel, because it's definitely not how I would feel, because I don't know how you feel. I have to really key into what they're saying and how they feel about whether, like how they're being cued, and listened to, I think, is the thing. Giving women more space to have feelings is certainly a thing that's like ubiquitous across coaching women. And then the other thing I would say that's ubiquitous across coaching all women is you want to be, two things. As a male, definitely more careful about how you talk about weight, because men can have body image issues too, and have eating disorder issues too, but it's going to be way more prevalent in women. So you definitely want to be careful about how you talk to women about cutting weight or how their bodies in general, and just like more mindful of how you approach them for like rewards and physical contact and
okay, I like that.
I'm going to be more mindful. I am going to be more mindful of how I approach them in terms of talking about their bodies or saying anything than I would be a dude.
Well, and something you said there is that I really liked was the aspect of, you're asking them how they feel, and it's not about how you feel as a coach.
How I would feel in that situation, but like truly understanding how they feel about whether the feedback they got, what they're listening to what they're saying, and not trying to impose like, well, if I was in that situation, I would feel like, because you don't know.
Yeah. And I'm going to draw a parallel line of something I learned pretty early on while cooking in the kitchen and with food, and when you're developing recipes and all that. And it's a cardinal rule in the culinary world is we cook food for other people, not for ourselves. If I were to cook you food that I liked, you'd probably think I was pretty rudimentary and whatever. But if I'm building a menu, and I'm going to build that menu based off of what the community, what that surrounding area, maybe the different competition of restaurants around me, it's going to be based off outside, not inside. So I align with what you just said there, is like, you got to be able to understand how they feel and take your own feelings out of it. And then you can come together. But I coach, okay. So I do a very, very specific thing. I coach juniors in different sports, right? And I do coach females and males, but I always refer to them as athletes. And I do that for a couple different reasons, because I when I'm talking to the parents, I'm like, hey, parents, on the group chats, make sure your athlete shows up with A, B, and C. They're at the field by this time. Because I want to make it very clear, that when you jump onto the field, you're an athlete to me. I don't see I'm not looking at your different dynamic on how you move, because if you move differently as a female, then you're just moving differently as an athlete to me. Does that make sense? I really try to take that idea out. Now, I know that as women get older, there are different challenges that may have to deal with, and that's somewhere where I am a bit inexperienced with. But I did coach CrossFit, and the primary of my one-on-ones were with women. And I overall, as a coach, I take my time with every athlete regardless, and we adjust and we move based off of what I'm seeing in the moment, or what I'm seeing with their training, or what I'm seeing they need work with. I really try to take the idea that they're a female out of it, but I don't know if there's a right or, I'm sure there's many wrong answers, but I'm sure there's a lot of right answers too. So I think that's just how I feel. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, there's certain considerations that you will need to take into consideration.
I like that.
Things you'll need to consider, but in general, like, it really is, I think it is a case by case basis, and it's just get to know your lifter, your athlete.
get to know the athlete, and then you go from there, and then you adjust based off of what they need. But yeah. All right, this one came in by text. Unless you guys got any more on that? You guys good moving on? Okay,
No.
cool. This one came in by text by someone I met a long time ago at, I think it was 2022 Masters Nationals in Salt Lake City. They said, when an athlete gets unmotivated to compete, as a coach, what do you do?
I mean, I think it goes back to that empathy thing and being curious and asking questions like, why is, and it's also, I mean, it's also fine to be like, I'm done with it. I think most people who do this sport should compete. Like, it gives you a like an end goal for the trainings. It gives you a reason to get motivated and go into the training hall.
Yeah.
It's good from a coaching perspective because we can foreseeing where the growth happened, to see, like, you can have small wins, like, hey, we opened heavier, we got a comp PR, rather than like, oh, I just didn't PR this whole block. But you can have small wins through it.
Yeah.
You can have consistency that you built through it. So there's reasons that I want to see athletes compete, but on the same hand, if they don't, like, I would say we're trying to figure out what is it about it. Personally, I don't like it. I don't ever see myself competing again just because I don't particularly like the stress of showing out and doing, like, I've just never had a really great competition in me. I've had maybe 2 or 3 competitions where I've gone 5 for 6, 2 probably.
Yeah.
And more often than not, I've gone 2 for 6 and I've bombed out a lot. So it's never been super fun for me. Especially as I started to become more of a coach and a referee, it was just a lot on my plate. So it just got less and less fun. So I understand when people don't want to do it, and that's fine too. You can also take a break. One of my athletes right now has had a couple less than, I think she would say, less than stellar or like somewhat disappointing from her own perspective, her own goals, competition. So taking a little break off and not having to stress about peaking at the right time has been super good for her.
That's good. Joey?
So I think there's a couple of different ways to answer this. So the first one would be like, for somebody who is just not interested in competing, like, or has lost their interest for it in the moment, right? And then as a coach for that person, all I'm going to try to do is just make sure that they are still having fun in the sport at the gym. Like, can you still enjoy this? Are they still enjoying it? Cool. That's all. Like, for the most part, I'm still doing my job as long as you're still enjoying this sport. Are you injured? Is everything okay and outside of your life? That sort of thing. Is there anything we can do to bring back fun to the sport? Change your programming, and let's not think about competing, just like Joe was saying, without that added pressure. Like, let's just enjoy lifting heavy stuff. And then there's sometimes where maybe I wasn't sure if the question was, what do you do for somebody that doesn't want to compete, but wants to compete, or wishes they could compete more, wishes they had that fire in them to compete still? Like, how do we
go with it? Yeah.
Right.
What would you do there?
I've experienced that. I think that anybody that's been competing in the sport long enough has had it, where that moment where you're in your, 8th consecutive training block without a really long break, and you're seeing all this other stuff and you're going, man, like, what am I doing this? Like, I'm lifting so hard and training so hard and sacrificing a lot of other stuff to do this sport.
Yeah.
And at those moments, it's just like, you have to push, you just have to keep going. Like, those are the times when it is when you decide, like, are you going to be like great at this sport, or like these are the things, like it's not going to be great all the time. But to get great at it, you're going to have to push through that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. That's a neat answer. Both have great answers. I think there was the second part of this question that said, and as an athlete, what would you do if you were unmotivated? And I'll kind of take that answer, which is, as an athlete, and you kind of talked about this a little, Joey, but as an athlete, there's nothing perfect about this sport. Bottom line, there's nothing perfect, and it's never going to be perfect. I've only been doing it for 8 years, and I say only because in my mind, I'm going to be doing it for a lot longer than 8 years. But to me, it's like I've never had a perfect training block. I've never had a perfect peak. I've never walked away from a week where I hit every single lift perfectly, or that I hit every single lift at all. So, I would say I'll use my experience, my current experience right now. And, I haven't competed in 6 months, and that is a big difference from what it was last year. Last year I was competing, pretty frequent, a lot more frequently than this. And then, some things happened, couldn't do the national stuff. So that's cool. But it was almost like I forgot what the peaking cycle was, because I think I texted Joe last week with a WTH, bro, and a screenshot of my stupid programming and what I missed, and then I come out on Saturday and I hit a PR. The past 3 Saturdays I've lifted at Coley Strength, I've had a PR, but my weeks have been dog shit. Sorry the language. And so that right there tells me one thing: with my longevity in the sport, I understand that I have something great coming around the corner, because it takes a second to learn that. So to keep the motivation going, I think it takes a couple things. It takes good support around you, and it takes yourself. Like, I like to write myself notes, and that helps me remind myself of why I'm doing it. Why do you do this? And then have that understanding in your head on why you keep on pushing through this sport, because it's really easy to be like, you know what? And I hear this a lot, it's an amateur sport. It's a hobby. I don't need to do that. Well, amateur sport, yes. Hobby, yes. But that doesn't mean we don't take it seriously. That doesn't mean that I don't put in the work, 4 or 5 days a week. Let's say 7 days a week, because of recovery. It's and eating is recovery. So it's like I'm constantly thinking about, how can I eat to support my weightlifting? How can I hot baths and stuff we've talked about before. But for me, it's just about having those little curious reminders here and there, in my gym, in my phone, being in the community that keeps me accountable for my stuff. And I'll tell you, it works. Sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, I tell Joe, dude, I'm freaking out right now. And usually he has a pretty good 1 or 2 word response. So
week 3 shit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard at times. And I'll tell you who takes the brunt of my head games and what's going on in my head and the constant trying to keep myself motivation is my wife.
Yeah.
I talk to her every night. How'd your session go? Shit. Don't worry. That's okay. I know, this, you go through this, like giving me those little, like, hey, don't worry about it. So props to her. But that, it's like when you make a commitment, right? You make a commitment to your significant other. That's a commitment that stays. And if it doesn't, then you move on. But I would say, for the most part, if it's important to you, you keep on doing it and you find ways to do it. Yeah. All right. That was a fun question. Let's go into a little bit of a less heavy question, and we'll say another one from Macy. She says, what meets do you guys look forward to on a yearly basis? Like your number one meet. What's the number one meet for you guys?
WSO.
Yeah,
WSO for
I was
sure.
going to say that too.
Yeah, because you find like the big meets are fun, obviously, right? Nationals are fun.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of like the production and like travel. Like, I don't know, it just feels cool to go do something. It feels really important. But the WSO for me is so cool because all of my friends are there.
Yeah.
All of my lifters are there. All of my coaches' lifters are there. Like, and it's just, it feels like a party in a strange way where it's just like you get to hang out with all your friends and see what everybody's been up to this year and see what the lifters are doing. And then, yeah, I love the WSO.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Joe, as a coach, what do you look forward to?
I mean, it's hard to not say Nationals Week. Although Nationals Week can be really grueling if you have to be there for all of it, like I do this year. Last year I tested for Cat 1 at Nationals Week, so that was really fun.
Remember that?
The Arnold, all the national meets to me are fun and super. I look forward to all of those probably the most. I mean, WSO, I love it. I mean, I've run it for the last 3 years now. It's super fun. It's also super hard. It's like a very hard weekend.
Yeah, totally.
And like there's a lot of stress that goes into that. But like it is in the end, or at least the last 3 years have been very rewarding, both like emotionally and financially. So those ones are fun. But like the last 2 years, Nationals Week in Colorado's been great. 2 years ago or 3 years ago in Colorado, it was great. Pittsburgh's Nationals Week was fun. Was I going to say the one in Detroit when Sester won was super fun. I think I was there for that whole one too.
Nice.
Yeah, that was so that like Nationals Week is fun because it's like you're there with everybody. And like Masters Nationals is a good one every year too. Like the USAW Masters Nationals weekend is super fun.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about the combo of the university kids this year. I know a lot of people liked it. I didn't hate it, but I don't think I was crazy about it.
Okay.
I mean, it makes sense from a, what did Phil say, cost benefit standpoint of having those guys there and opening up more spots for the senior lifter, for the open lifters at the Arnold.
Yeah.
Because we had the universities in the Arnold together, then
That's right.
But you could also just put the university kids in with the U25 kids, and that's basically the same contest anyway. So that could just go back to, they could be back in Nationals Week.
I don't think I've ever understood the difference between them.
One's in college and one's not.
I know, but yeah, why not just have it one thing? I don't know.
Well,
we won't get into that.
I mean, they have U25s is, out of all of them, maybe the least prestigious to win of a national championship.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe. I don't know if there's a way of saying that, like, that's not a prestigious thing to do.
I don't know. I think it's pretty cool either way, but I see what you're saying on that. Yeah, so Masters Nationals has always been one of my favorite things to go to. And regardless of which federation does it, I've always had fun. I love the Masters meets. This year, I am most looking forward to the WSO. I've volunteered at the WSO for the past 3 years and have had a blast doing that. But this time I am going to volunteer and compete. And I think when I look at my year, that is what I'm most excited about, because the energy that was there last year, I mean, each year it just keeps bumping up a little bit more, but like, it just feels so fun. And I don't know about you guys, but like, I feed off of that crowd. and there's a big crowd in there. Like you can fit a lot of people in that room. And like, I love it when you see a lifter lift and like, you know, you get everybody cheering, and then people in the hotel are like, well, what's going on in there? And then they come in, and, you know, it's such a cool environment to be a part of. So I'm looking forward to that this year. I would say that's probably
people sign up. Signups are going slow.
Are they? Well, I mean, the early signups went up pretty quick, right?
Yeah, we got like 80 spots left.
Okay. Well, get out there and sign up, people. Come on, let's go. All right, next question. This is from I'm going to butcher this name, Haley S. Stallcup. I don't know if I said it. Huh? Hallie. Okay. What mindset / habit do most consistently improving athletes have in common? You guys want me to read that again?
Consistency.
Exactly. That's
consistency and resilience, or there's another word. It'll come to me. Tenacity.
Tenacity is a good one. The ability to push through the crap, because there's, as a new athlete, you know, you get a lot of PRs. It's really exciting. But then you're not a new athlete and you don't PR for a long time. And it's not exciting. So I think for what I look for and what I have experienced is athletes that possess the habit to push through the crap, and to the resiliency is probably the better word, but yeah.
I think something that is something you gain. We've talked about this in our last podcast, I think, but something you gain through experience is knowing when, and it takes a minute to, you gain this through experience, but like when you've had a bad week or a bad session, or is being able to zoom out and go, okay, well, how much progress have we made this year or 6 months, and not let what has happened in the last 7 days overshadow the picture, and then be able to extrapolate and go, okay, like we're still on track. Everything's still going fine. This is just a little teeny blip. And if you zoom out far enough, it doesn't matter. And I think when people are new, every session becomes super consequential. I think it's our job as coaches to let them know that, you know, a missed lift here or there, it doesn't mean that their career's over.
It's like the same thing that happens like when you're little. Every year feels like an eternity because you only lived like 6 years. But when you're 55, each year is like such a fraction of how long you've been alive that they go by faster because they're not like your whole life.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like that happens the longer you've been lifting. Each lift doesn't mean anything anymore. I mean, you should still approach it with intensity and with like it's an important thing, but like each one, you can forget about it faster. You can forget about a bad day faster when you're 55 than when you're 25.
In that same thing, I think the ability to not judge yourself.
Oh, yeah.
For
your self-worth is more than the sum of your snatch and your clean and jerk.
Like, like
what are you talking about?
Yeah, like that's so like I've missed a lift. That lift was missed, not I am bad. Like it's wild to see, and I get it. I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
But I think as we've been in the sport long enough, you start to be a little nicer to yourself too. But if you can be kind to yourself when you're having a bad day, it's going to help you out so much more. Like I can't tell you how often I see people getting so angry at themselves and so worked up for a bad day in the gym. And I just think like, how is that helping you with your next lift?
It's not.
It's not.
No.
Like, you're so wrapped up. It's like you have to be able to just move on to that next rep and start over.
Yeah. That's both you put that really well. And I think it's so easy to I think the first, and this came from CrossFit, but Joe, Cody, he used to tell me not to put mirrors in your gym. Don't put mirrors in your gym. Why not? Because your reflection to yourself is going to kill your lifting. And I'm like, okay. And I understand what he means by that. I probably butchered how he said it, but yeah, I think we all judge ourselves harder than what is the reality of it. And so remembering as an athlete that's consistently improving, that break down that word improving, because it means you're getting better. And in order to get better, you have to kind of get worse to understand how to get better. And you got to, it's just like anything else. You want to improve, understand that it's going to be an uphill battle, and weightlifting is just that. It is an uphill battle. And I think I said something very briefly to Macy before I left on Saturday. She was having a rough day, and I said to her, with all honesty, those missed lifts right there are going to be PRs someday. And I say that because I can't tell you, there's been so many times I've been in my garage where I've missed a lift, and then I become and this is, Joe, obviously before your team, I've been a stubborn bastard, and I'm down there trying to like hit a lift that I've hit a million times, and I'm taking, 10, 15 cracks at it. Exactly. Don't. Understand when to walk away. Understand that, like, there's a point in which you just walk away. Go ahead.
That's the best thing to having an in-person coach is he'll be like, stop doing that.
Yeah.
We're being in Cal Strength with Sester, and Chevy was missing and just kept missing, and Dave would be like, stop, and Chevy just kept doing it and wouldn't listen to him. But like,
yeah,
when your coach is there and he says stop and you stop, it's so much better for you. I like the I guess it's an analogy of going on tilt in poker.
Yeah.
If you play poker and you get a bad beat, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to go in with this 2-3 and show them, or I got 7-2 now, let's go. And then you keep losing because you're playing bad at worse and worse hands. Yeah, that's what missing 10 times in a row does.
Yeah.
Your whole bankroll.
Yeah. Exactly. I've had it ruin an entire week of lifting completely because your body is just so tore back the next day, especially as a master's lifter, right? All right, guys, we're pushing through these. These are great. Okay, this is a two-part question, and this is from a guy named Murph. And I think I might have talked to him about him last time, but he is the single oldest listener to this show. He's listened from day one. He actually got on here and said what's up on the comments. Like, this guy is loyalty, straight loyalty. But anyways, from the coach's point of view, how do you keep yourself from wanting more from your athletes?
I don't really have a problem with that. I don't know. Like, if you're giving me, if you are doing the best you can, then that's all I can ask for. I've never, and look, 99% of you all are going to be recreational athletes. And the only one that's not is someone who's like gaming for like, not even a podium at seniors, but like the only one who's not a recreational athlete that I've ever coached was Sester.
Yeah.
And even Sester, it was still his like part-time thing. Like, like if you're not making teams, then you need to be able to, when you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. It's fine. You can also, like, even as much as I said, tenacity is important. Like, you got to meet them where they're at. So, like, if they don't want to do it, then I don't know. Joey was saying too, like, let's figure out how to make it fun for you again. So, I never really have a problem with needing more from my people. Maybe some of my personal training clients I would want more from. Like,
Yeah.
they will sometimes come in less motivated, but like anyone who's paying me to be a weightlifter, I'm pretty much whatever they give me, I'm pretty happy with.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay. Joey?
Yeah, I think maybe another like tack on the question would be if as a coach, I have somebody that I feel like has a lot of potential and they could be doing much more with the sport. They could be lifting more. They could be a great competitor. In those circumstances, a lot of the times those folks need to be built up. So if they don't believe in themselves or they've never been competitors or done any competitions and they've never had an opportunity to push themselves and I feel like they could, it's trying to find ways in their programming to sneak it in to where they will be forced to push themselves in ways that are not obvious. And then you can go, like, example of this would be like, I do this with brand new lifters where they don't have confidence in a weight. A lot of times they won't have the confidence from the floor, but I'll work them from the hip, from the knee, and then you get them on the floor and then you go, hey, look, like you just did this from the mid thigh. You just did this from the hip. Like you don't need any extra to get this overhead from the floor. And so I'll even build up their drills or their primers that are like lighter, but really, really hard to help build them that confidence. And then they go like, oh, this is what it feels like to work hard, but they and have to try hard without having to lift, go for a new PR. It's like finding ways to like sneak it in or talk to them, build them up and get them to believe in themselves. A lot of times is how you can get them to push harder without actually having to persuade them.
So no, you're not bribing with candy or anything.
Sometimes
I like that. Yeah. And Joey, that was actually the second part of this because it says, but at the same time, there is some potential large or small. So that's, and again, I can only, from the coaching aspect, I can speak to how I coach younger athletes, and you can push a younger athlete a little bit more. I look at different tactics, kind of like what you were saying, Joey, different tactics within the training to get them to push themselves without knowing it. And then you pull it back and you're like, hey guys, look, we just accomplished A, B, and C. And yesterday you guys couldn't even accomplish A. And so having that ability to be intelligent as a coach and maybe flip something around so the athlete doesn't think, oh, I can't do that because I've never done it from the floor before. But guess what? I can do it from here. Well, hey, why don't we put it on the floor and I want you just to take the tension out until you hear that click in the bar. Okay, cool. Walk away from it. Let's do it again. Now bring it up to your knees. It's stuff like that. And then next thing you know, they start cueing themselves on that. And I think if it's an athlete that has potential, they're going to be pretty smart and they're going to catch on to that stuff. You can only expect out of an athlete what they can give you in the moment.
That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, and I think that's a really smart way to be. You just can't be like, oh, well, you know what? I think that you can win seniors next year, so we're going to do that. Like maybe you can say that and you can bring a goal to it, but like if they don't have it, they don't have it. I'll tell one very small, short story. I once had a coach tell me that I could go to the Olympics in weightlifting, and I was so new to the sport, and I was just like, I remember. Okay, guys, I was really naive. Okay, I remember going home and I was coming off of CrossFit, and I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, I can eat this bowl of chili and these 2 quarter pounders. And he said I might go to the Olympics. I'll tell you, my wife does not let me live that down. But yeah, you can only expect what the athlete can give you and what their potential is. So,
what's in their tank? Like, not like
Yeah.
what's their like emotional
Right.
and again,
Yeah.
like, if they have a job and a family and shit, like I'm never gonna ask you to give me more than you can give me. I don't know.
totally, that makes sense. Yeah, and I get, from my point of view, like I think I told you pretty early on, dude. I'm like, I do this, 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 and this, and I remember, I'll never forget. You're like, how do you expect to weightlift? I was like, trust me, Joe, I can make it work. I promise. But yeah, that's all the questions we got right now. I think we're at 50 minutes, which is a pretty good show. Maybe what we'll do is there's a couple other questions, but they're much longer, and we'd be on here for probably another 30, 40 minutes. So I got to get down to training because, I'm a good athlete and I do my training. No, I do need to get down to training though. Thanks guys. You got anything you want to plug immediately?
No,
Yes. While we're live
Yes.
this weekend, Coach Julia at my gym, we're having like an intro to weightlifting weekend. So if you want to learn snatch or clean and jerk from the very beginning, it's an intro course, Saturday and Sunday.
Awesome.
You can email me at joey@coleystrength.com. If not, if you're interested in that in the future, you can let me know and we can let you know when the next one is.
Cool. Like it. Joe?
yeah, and if you're on the fence about WSO, get signed up.
Get signed up.
And we got an L2 at Cully Strength next month as well.
Nice. Heck yeah. All right. Well, guys, great show. I like that we did it live. I purposely didn't tell you.
Yeah, snuck that in on us.
I did. Here's what it does, you guys, is it takes a little bit of pressure off me posting because it posts right now. It's posting as we speak. And it also allows people to comment. And we didn't get a ton of comments, but I haven't done a live show in probably 3 months. So we'll get that back up and we'll get it going and we'll start to get more comments. And it's kind of fun when you get the comment sides going. But anyways, guys, thanks for being here. I think this was super fun. Good show. And I got nothing else. I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you everybody for listening. Adios.
Jeez.